Hey, happy Tuesday. I know that we do mature conversations every fourth Monday, but yesterday was a special Monday. It was my 11th wedding anniversary. So we wanted to allot that time to us, our marriage, celebrating our anniversary. So we have a special edition tonight for Mature Conversations. So this will be the only night really that it will be on a Tuesday and not a Monday. Come on in. Let me just do a little bit of tagging to let everybody know I'm live and that I'm on, and then we're gonna get started. I'm excited about tonight's topic. I'm excited. I don't even know how to tag people on here now at this point. But yes, so a special edition tonight. Again, we normally do Mature Conversations every fourth Monday at 8 p.m. But last night was my wedding anniversary, so I was not going live. And yeah, so if you are watching, go ahead and say hi so I can say hi back. And then also go ahead and share, because somebody that's on your page, they need to be a part of this conversation. They need to hear this conversation about marriage. So I can't see who's on. So just go ahead and say hi. Good evening, Maisha. Go ahead, say hi, say hello. Go ahead and share this broadcast. Thank you. Thank you. My sis Tisha's on. Thank you. We really celebrated mostly over the weekend. I don't know. He took me to this farmhouse, but it was so beautiful inside, and we just literally just relaxed and enjoyed each other's company. It was really, really nice. Really nice. And then last night we just really just kicked back. Oh boy, Troublemaker's on. Martise, he's on. I believe you're going to behave yourself this evening. But anyway, so this topic came because we are closing out the month of February, and there was a lot to go on in February. We had Valentine's Day. Everybody go crazy over Valentine's, Galentine's, all of that. The month of love, where everybody is extra lovey-dovey for this 1 month, really. And then, like I said, yesterday was my 11th wedding anniversary. So it was a lot going on about love and relationships and things like that. So this show, I wanted to talk about keeping the flame burning, keeping the flame alive, keeping a spark in your marriage. So this live is not just for married people. It's those who are single, desiring to be married, those who are engaged, those who are newlyweds. If you've been married for 5 days, thank you so much, Rhonda Moore Williams. If you've been married for 5 days, 5 years, 15, no matter what, this is for you. So I do have a special guest. I'm not going to drag this on any longer. So I do have a special guest, and I am about to bring her on. So Maisha, go ahead and request to come on. Okay. Maisha, go ahead and comment again under here so I can bring you on. So yeah. So Maisha, if you're watching, I don't see that you request to come on, but your ministry page will allow me to come on. So I don't know if you want me to invite you on the ministry page instead of your personal page, if that's fine. But just put it in the comments and let me know. I think that may be why. You might be logged in on your ministry page. So yeah, let me know if that's okay. To invite you on through your ministry page, and then we could just do it like that, even though Mature Conversations is not like a whole church thing. But listen, we got to do what we got to do. Okay, that's your husband. Okay. So it's not letting me request you to come on. So I don't want to take too long on this. I do want to try really quick, if you can maybe try to request to be on. It's not even giving me the options to invite you on, which is crazy. But she's my guest for tonight. So we've already discussed if we have issues or technology issues that she's going to be active in the comments, as well as you guys. If you're watching, you already know how I like it. Let's have this conversation. Talk to me through the comments. Is a conversation, not just you listening to me. I really want to talk. All right. I got the request. Let's see. Yay. All right. So Maisha should be on in just a minute. Aisha should be on in just a
Hi.
I'm excited. There you go. Okay, so this is my guest for the evening. This is Maisha. I always like to give a little introduction of like how I personally know the person that's on my show. So I do know Maisha. We met a couple of years back. We was like really, well, I'm gonna say me, because she still be doing her thing as an author, talking about her books and things like that. When I was really heavy into promoting my book a couple of years ago, that's how we connected authors and things like that. And I do still feel like the Lord has some things for us to do in the future down the road when I get all my affairs in order. But yes, I'm so happy to have you on tonight. Her husband, Everett, is on. So yes, you guys who are watching, please go ahead and share and get in the comments. Join in if you got questions. If you want to put your input, go ahead. And we're going to get started. So, tonight's topic is keeping the flame alive, keeping the fire burning in your marriage. So how long have you been married?
Married for 18 years and together for 23 together, married 18. Yeah.
Wow. Listen, that's a long time to be with one person. That's a long time. And that is such a blessing to be able to say that you've been with someone for a really long time and that you've been married. Not that it's about the time, but that means that time you were able to withstand so many things within that time span. And so I just heard you like kind of thinking and calculating just like really quick, because a question just came in my mind. Do you guys sometimes like argue over like how long y'all been together?
Yes. Yes. It's a month sometimes wrong. And we're like, no, it was during that time or it was during that time. And we just we try to figure it out. We're like, no, that's not when we really started. This is when we really started getting serious. So
yeah. Listen, I don't feel bad, because me and Robert, like always, first off, I say, okay, we have been together for 15 years. October made us being together for 15 years, right? And I'm like, oh, October the 1st. He's like, oh, it wasn't October the 1st. It was just like some other day in October. I'm like, October the 1st. I mean, I just don't understand. Then the other day, he's like, yeah, because we've been married for I forgot how many years? I said 11. 11. He's like, you sure? I'm like, you better know that date, like the year we were. Let's calculate, let's do some math. So I actually feel better knowing that like we're not the only couple. Like after 10 years, it's all a blur. You got to get the calculator out and try to calculate back. So I don't feel so bad about it now. Okay, so you've been with your husband, you said, for about 23 years, and you guys have been married for 18 years. So my first question to you would be, as a two-part question. What was your vision of marriage, your marriage, before you got married? And then how did it differentiate from actually being married?
Oh my goodness, that's such a good question. My vision of marriage was so skewed. Because my favorite films are like The Notebook and, like Romeo and Juliet, and, so I'm in expectation of, you know, that everything is just going to go smoothly all the time. You know, I'm going to come in, I'm going to be cooking dinner. You know, my husband's going to come in and just, oh, hey, babe, you know, great day. And all of these, you know, laugh together all the time. If we have a disagreement, we're going to quickly get over it. And, you know, not realizing that it is two totally different people coming together from totally different backgrounds, trying to cohabitate together through issues, through, you know, personality challenges and things like that. And I think that, like, in the first year of marriage, I was like, I don't like you. Like, who is this? You know, who is this person? You know, but start to see all of the things that are covered up when you initially meet that person. We don't just dump all of our baggage out on once when we first meet somebody. You know, we put our best forward. You know, we're these people that are just totally different sometimes. And so when you start living together and you see the socks being left, and wait a minute, you were clean at first and picking up and doing all this at first. What's this about? Clothes on the bed and this happened and right here.
Oh my goodness, that is so true. I when I was making my post to Vibrant yesterday, and I was just like, I don't know what I want to say. So that's what made me think about that question, because I'm like, when I envision us being married before we got married is like a lot different than what it actually is. Not completely different, but it was like what you said. You imagine yourself, you think you're gonna be in the kitchen cooking. I can't wait to be all right, because I'm gonna cook for you. And not mention, okay, yeah, you're gonna be cooking, but then you gotta do this and that. You're gonna have kids now incorporated in that. You know, you're gonna be cooking after you've worked a full day of work, things like that. So when I envision it, I just envision like, not that like the Notebook, but really like, you know, the little white picket fence, you know, the little paper bag of lunch. Here, honey, have a good day. And you know, and when life is really lifing, that is when life is life, and that is really when marriage starts. It don't start, as soon as you say, I do, and then it just seals. No, that marriage really comes alive when life starts lifing, because like you said, two people come together from two totally different worlds, and it's like, no matter how many similarities you have, you are different people. Y'all were raised by different people. Y'all were raised with different mindsets. You've conditioned yourself to have different mindsets coming up before you marry that person. And it's the same thing, like the representative. You know, a lot of times the female is come on like, oh yes, I can do that. Yes, I'm gonna. Yes, I'm gonna do. So he's gonna expect you to say yes, 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 yes all the time. And the same with the guy. Oh yeah, you know, I'm gonna do such and such and such. And then, you know, life happens. So I think that it is just so like, it's so important for people, especially if they're not married, to really not predicate what they see other people do and predicate how they you know, do marriage. But it's good to see other people in the successes of their marriage and some of the failures and the trials within other people's marriages, because that gives you an idea that it's not going to always be perfect. Right. It's not going to always be perfect. Who in the world? Somebody requesting to be on. I'm not sure who that is. Joyce Rose. All right, Joyce Rose. I'm so sorry, but I did not pre-interview you to come on for the show. But definitely, if you have some input, please go ahead and share in the comments and have a conversation with us. We definitely want to interact with everyone in the comments.
Hi, Auntie. She probably made a mistake.
Okay. Okay. Because I was like, hold on. But yes. So, it's just really crazy, like, the vision that you have in the beginning versus when you are married. So my next question to you would be, um, since you've been with your husband for 23 years, you've been married for 18, have you guys ever reached like a crossroads in your marriage where the flame just was like dying out and maybe y'all just wasn't connecting, or like have you ever reached a point like that?
Yes, we were just actually having this discussion the other day about how when you experience a traumatic event in your life, it can either pull you closer together or it can make you feel like you're going separate and like you're going in two different directions in your life. So during the time when, like a little bit after, maybe like a year or so after what happened to me, the near-death experience, I started to begin to change a lot. You know, I became this purpose-driven person. You know, I was like fully focused on what I needed to do. It was like now, now, now. And so by me doing that, I had a lot of times where I had a difficult time balancing things. And so it was consuming so much of my time, me saying, I have to fulfill this purpose. I have to do this. I have to do it now, 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 now. And so I, you know, kind of fell into a realm of, you know, kind of neglecting my husband a little bit, you know, because I was so busy all the time, always busy doing something, going somewhere. And, you know, it was no time really left for us, you know, no time to connect, no time to sit down and have date nights or, you know, all those things that people recommend that you do to keep your marriage strong, you know. And so, you know, we had to bring it to my attention and say, listen, you know, you've been a little bit too busy here now. So, coordinate and find some balance in this so that we aren't going in separate directions, so that it's not like you're doing your thing and I'm doing my thing, but we're not coming together and doing anything.
Right,
you know?
right.
Together is minimal time. It's very little time, or, you know, we may be sitting together, but I'm still on my cell phone doing something and you're doing something. And even though we're sitting together, we're not together. We're not communicating. We're not doing anything. So yes, we're in the same room with each other, but we're not building on anything. We're not building a bond. We're in our own worlds right now. Yeah, to get clarity to that. And then sometimes it still is that way, you know. That doesn't go away in this era of social media and us trying to market a few things with our businesses and all of that thing. That's like a constant struggle trying to maintain that balance, especially with children, as we talked about.
Yeah. So you basically just open a floodgate of domino effect to other questions. So I feel that, like with marriage, right? When you get used to a person around you, you get comfortable. You get comfortable with everything, you know? I feel that, you know, when you're together for so long, every marriage deals with like some type of comfortability where it's like, oh, that's my person. I understand. That's our person. I don't gotta comb my hair today. Yeah, that's my person. I don't gotta dress like nothing when we go nowhere. Oh, that's my person. I don't really gotta put too much effort into this because they know we've been together forever. They know. And so I think that like what you said, like, oh, being together and just in the phones and you're together, but you're not together. Your minds are with other people, not like that, but you know what I mean? One person watching videos and the other person doing X, Y, and Z. And sometimes in some aspects that may work, that you guys are working on stuff together and y'all can feed off of each other, things like that. But then other times that can be such a bad space to be in, where it's like you're there but you're not present. And so to me that comes because of comfortability. You're going to only do something like that with people that you're extra comfortable with, because if you're in a room with a stranger that you were allotted to allotted time to be in, you're gonna give them your undivided attention, because you're gonna be like, oh, that's rude. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I had to pick up my phone. But because you're comfortable with a person, you like, oh, okay, you know. So you bring up a really good point in comfortability. So one thing I try to tell people, especially when they want to get married, like, listen, you cannot be too comfortable with your spouse to where you put no effort.
That's
No
right.
effort and time,
Right.
whether that's time spent in the house together. You can't get too comfortable with no effort and time outside of the house, where y'all just going places to do things. But no, y'all got to be intentional about what y'all going out to do. We're going out to do something together. We're not just going out as a united front to handle X, Y, and Z, but we're going out together to go on a date. You know, things like that.
That's right.
So, you know, I try to tell people, listen, marriage is beautiful, it's wonderful, but I don't care how much you guys get along, it is still work, because you have to keep it going. It's not just, oh yeah, we're married, so yeah, we don't guys. No, you got to put that effort in there. You got to still impress. You still have to impress your spouse. I remember having a conversation with someone, and they was just like, oh, well, I don't really need to impress them. Like, I did what I need to do. So no, just because that person did make vows, you guys made vows, you're going to be faithful to each other, right? You made vows, this is forever, right? But you should still be the main one that shows that you want your spouse's attention. You show that effort. You want your spouse to still be excited by how you present yourself, how you look. That's male and female, because we get the conception that it's just female. Females just let themselves go, oh, because they have kids. No, males have to keep themselves up too. Tish said, you get out of the relationship what you put into it. Exactly. It's an input output.
Yeah.
If you put the bare minimum in it, you're going to get the bare minimum out of your spouse. You put the bare minimum in your relationship, your spouse is going to give you back the bare minimum, even if it's unintentional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It takes effort. It takes so much effort. And you know, it's work. It's work. Like, you have to be intentional about the things that you're doing in your marriage. And you have to, you know, they met you looking a certain way. You know, they want to see that beauty in you. They want to see, you know, that glow in you. Nobody wants to come home and see you, you know, looking crazy. You know, I'm not saying you have to be lambed out all the time.
Right.
Because they love you for who you are. But, you know, sometimes if they come home, or if you come home and, you know, your husband's smelling good, looking good, and, you know, you had a long day at work, and it's like, you know, seeing that, or a relief to him seeing. You're each other's comfortable place. You're each other's, you know, that uplifting point of when you had a day coming in, and maybe a favorite perfume or, you know, favorite outfit that you like to see them in, and you had a bad day and you walk in and go, hey, you know, I like that. Hey, so much better now.
Yeah. Yes. And also that reminds me, like, being mindful of things. Like, it's sometimes the little things. Ever said, I'm always smelling good. Yeah. It's the little things, like when you said having a bad day and you come in looking a certain way. One thing that it's like an unspoken thing. I feel like Vibert did it more, and I picked up on it, and then I started doing it. Was we could just talk a few times throughout the day, and I'm like, oh man, I'm craving some cheesecake and blah blah blah, and we just finish having a talk, and then he'll walk through the door with like a slice of cheesecake. Those kinds of things are mindful. Like, it's not a whole big thing. He ain't come with a whole big bouquet of flowers, but it's those small things that, okay, my spouse heard me. When I was venting earlier, when I said I wasn't having a great day, they heard that one small thing. So I noticed that he would do that a lot more. Me, I'm more of a constant, like, oh yeah, let's, you know, this, oh here. But then I was like, oh, you know, it makes it special. Something so small is so big to someone, especially from their spouse.
I think
Tish says, my husband knows Monday and Tuesday is no makeup, no hair day. The rest of the week I need to show up. Exactly. So you have a balance. Like, listen,
that.
if you're working from home, I'm not getting glammed up, okay? I'm going to take me a shower. I'm going to take a shower, but more than likely, if I'm working from home that day, I'm going to have some leggings and a t-shirt on. I might have a wig on. I might not. But it's the balance, and I love that. She said Monday and Tuesday, he already know.
Right.
Don't come here looking expecting, come here expecting makeup. But
Yeah.
other days she allot to, he's going to come home to her looking like the
Yeah.
best version of herself, whatever that is for her and them, what they've
Oh,
defined that as. That's good.
and I
That's
like
good.
they've established that. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
it shows that different things work for different couples. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Different understanding about based around, your relationship with that person and based on their needs and desires from you. So just having that conversation,
Mm-hmm.
like and having that conversation and having that
Yeah.
so that there's no
Yep.
expectation. You know, that day, this is what it is. This is my down days. So, and he's in acceptance of that. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
Yeah. So just like we said, marriage is work. It's a constant compromise. It's a constant work. You really have to work together to meet for everyone's needs to be met.
Yes.
So what do you like? Okay, what do you like? What would you like to see? What would you like to see? And if you're both, and not trying to get all deep in scripture or whatever, because we just wives having a conversation, but it always reminds me of like the scripture, outdo one another in love. I always think about that coming into the marriage, that always look to serve, right? And not to be served. If both
Yeah.
parties are always looking to serve, then nobody is feeling like, hey, my needs are not being met.
That's
You get what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
She said, I realized looking like that all week was not cool, so I had to change that because he be looking good every day. Exactly. So that's kind of you meeting him where he is. If he goes out to work and so he's presentable, he has to go out and he comes in, well, guess what? How he look is fulfilling what you need, right? So now you have to fulfill his needs. And okay, I might not have to be decked out every day because I might not have to go outside to work every day, but I'm going to make the effort so that his needs is met. So that's really, really good. It's compromise. It can't just be, oh, well, I'm working from home, so you should expect this. You got to, like she said, you have to show up.
Right.
And that's both male and female.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be just the male showing up and it can't be
Right.
just the female showing up. You both have to show up for each other. So that's good. So you said that there was a time where you were just busy, 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 busy.
Yeah.
How did you guys come back from that? Like, what did you put in place to say, we're going to reel this back in and do like a reset? Like, what did you guys do?
I had for me, I know I had to kind of minimize and kind of cluster some things. And I had to put some things in place like planners and things that I never really did before. I'm new to the whole planner thing as of like this year, actually committing to it and really doing it and really being able to look at my schedule and say, okay, this time and this time is allotted for my family. This is my family. So if I get a phone call, if I get whatever, I have committed to not getting on the phone, not doing with business, not doing absolutely nothing on these times. This is dedicated to family. And then I had to realize that I had to do things outside of the children. So for me, for a while, everything was family. Or every time something was done, it was family. It was never just husband and I. It was family. So I had to learn from that as well, that there needs to be a separation of time with the children and with my husband. And then there's family time as well.
Yes, that is key. So that goes into us talking about like marriage with children. It is so easy to get caught up in being parents together that you forget to be husband and wife. I'm telling you right now, I'm the one quick to be like, them kids not coming. Because Barbara is very, the kids, family, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Yeah.
No. We are husband and wife tonight. You are Robert and I'm just Shaquana. We are not mommy and daddy. Absolutely not. Like, and to the point they were like, oh, y'all always going out without us. No, that's a lie. Y'all go with us places, but these places is just, like I said, he at the very beginning, he took me to like this nice farmhouse over the weekend. And they were like, oh yeah, you gonna take us? No.
Like, absolutely.
It's our anniversary. So while we're family, right? You're a part of us. You're not in this actual marriage with us. And that's where I feel people get misconstrued in their marriages.
Yeah.
They take the children and you create a family and you say, oh, this is my marriage. No, the children are not in your marriage. They're not inside. It's just you and your spouse and God. They're not in y'all connection. No, they're right outside of that. You know what I mean?
And I think that because I'm your husband, you know, I'm the one that's always like, oh, bring the kids, and the kids come, and my husband's the one like, listen, we need time aside just for the two of us, you know, where we can connect, you know. And the children for a while didn't understand that. They were they don't understand that because they're used to having mommy's attention, you know, all the time. You know, they're used to when they call me coming, or they're used to when they want to be a part, they're able to be a part. And then when that boundary started to be drawn, then, you know, some issues arose up in that area that had to be corrected as well.
Wow. Let me tell you, I am quick to say even certain things. Oh, well, daddy, you didn't get me. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm his wife. Because you know we got all girls. I'm like, I'm his wife. He didn't get you one because you ain't his wife. Now, when you get your husband, expect him to get you whatever it is. And so we have to be very mindful of that in marriages. Again, both female and male. We can't just, in this day and age, we can't just say one particular behavior is just for a wife or just for a husband. And certain things, it has to apply across the board.
That's right.
We have to come together in marriages to say, hey, listen, these are our children. There's time allotted for family time, but this marriage is us and God, and we have to allot that time. We have to keep that connection, because if the connection is not strong between the two of you, you can't be a united front to parent well.
You absolutely cannot. I'm glad
it's gonna be that. It's gonna be division somewhere. You have to parent well, but it all is about you guys' connection. And so sometimes it's just really hard to differentiate that and separate the two. So I'm glad to hear you say that, because I feel like, again, so many people always think that they're the only ones who deal with certain situations, like, oh, no, it happens. If you have children, especially multiple kids, and y'all get into y'all create a whole family, it's so easy to fall and get wrapped into just family, and you take yourself out of being a married person and you and your spouse.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a question and I just lost it. Oh, that sucks. It wasn't written down, but something has sparked the question. Joyce Rose says, it is also easy to lose yourself in him. Thank you. She actually got me back on track. It is very easy to lose yourself in your spouse. Yeah. Whether it's the wife losing themselves in the male, or vice versa, the male losing themselves in the wife. And that actually brought me into what I wanted to talk about, was individuality. Me and my husband have been talking about that recently, because it's just been really hitting me hard. Like, okay, yes, the two come together as one, right? But we are still individuals. So there's still purpose to be fulfilled. That's a sign to Maisha. Hey, Krista, my sister-in-law is on. There's there's assignments for Maisha to do, and then there's assignments for Everett to do. There's assignments for Robert. There's assignments for Shaquana, and then there's things that supposed to be happening birth forth together, right? And so what I think happens a lot in marriages is you get married and then you think every single waking thing how you has to be engulfed into your spouse, and that's not actually not healthy.
It's not.
And so I've been heavy on telling my husband, hey, listen, you need some me time. He's like, me time? Yeah, you need some.
Exactly.
You need me time. And I just started like little here and there, like, okay, I need some me time. That means a little bit of time.
Yes.
For Shaquana.
That's right.
You need a little bit of time for you. Yeah. Then we need that time together.
Yes.
Then we need that time as a family. You have to, because you want to continue to pour and serve your spouse from a whole place.
Right.
And you can't do that if you're continually just, you serve it. You don't know what you're giving there at this point. What are you taking from? You know? And so, yeah, and I feel that it's good, you know, for married people should have, you don't have to have a whole plethora, a whole large group of married friends, but for married couples to befriend other married couples. For married women to befriend other married women. Married men befriend other married men. That helps you in your wholeness. That helps you, you know, just us having this conversation is like, okay, all right, I'm not the only one who dealt with this issue. I'm not the only one. This is how I overcame this. This is how we overcame this hurdle. It's important for us to have those times and those type of relationships. And so, like I see like a lot of TikTokers, right?
Yeah.
They are always together, like the married couples and stuff.
Yes.
And I'm like, do you have family? Do you have friends? I'm looking for my water. Yeah, do you have family? Do you have friends? Like your spouse, yes, be their best friend, but there's still a whole world out there that you have to live. You still have to live.
That's right.
You know. So same thing with that balance, you know. We're not saying, oh, hang out all night, all times of the night. You know what I mean? Well, your spouse got to look for you, but you got to have that balance. You want to go fishing for a whole day? Go fishing. You want to go shopping on a little girl's shopping spree and have some lunch? Go and do that.
Right.
And then when you come back together, because y'all not all up under, when you come back together, it's like, oh, hey, you know, it's fresh. I haven't seen you all day. How was your day? It keeps things alive.
I was always
to me
told time to miss each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give yourself time to miss each other. You know, and me and my husband have talks, and I'm just a proponent of, I never want to look in the mirror and not recognize who I am anymore. And not know who I am and what my purpose is and what my destiny is for what God has for me. I don't want my identity to lie in somebody else. You know, it's great that we have a purpose together. It's great that we together. But, you know, God, like you said, also has plans and ideals for me, according to Jeremiah 29:11. It's not together all the time. It's just like somebody, like, you know, people tend to pattern themselves after what they see. And so, like you said, TikTokers, people think that this is the norm of what a relationship is. This is the norm of how a marriage goes. This is the normal process of how things go. And you don't belong. You know, you quickly come back together, and it's just all this fantasy and no reality.
Fantasy.
You know, reality of sometimes you might go to sleep and you might be very angry, you know, but you got to you know what I mean? But you're still angry. You know, you get frustrated at times. You get, you know, emotional at times, you know, and you just want to stay true to yourself, because if you are pouring out of you can't pour out of an empty cup. You just can't.
That's what I mean.
Empty. You're no good to anybody else. You're no good to yourself. You're no good to anybody. You're burnt out. You're angry, frustrated, and then you don't want to be around for your
That's
own
it.
mental well-being, you have to initiate self-care, because some
Yep.
of us women are so giving
Yep.
because we're nurturers naturally. We're so giving all the time. Give, 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 that we don't even stop for a second to think about ourselves and our needs.
You are so accurate about that. Hey guys. All right. So my brother-in-law my brother-in-law wants to come on the show. I don't know about you. I think I might let you on for 5 minutes. So you on the Crystal's page, you have to request to be on. There's a thing to request to be on. So now he has a show similar to mine where he talk and have controversial conversations. But yes, so why you say shaking my head? But yeah, request to be on and then I can bring you on. So when I'll see it pop up. So yes, you have to do things alone. You have to. It's healthy to do things alone. Like I said, we ain't saying go out and be gone now, gone a whole week and we don't know where you at. We're not saying, we're not talking about that. We're talking about me time. Male, find you something to do. Females, find you something to do. So when y'all come back together, it's fresh, it's new. You wanna, I don't know about you, but I like that new feeling. Like, I don't want a new person, right? I want the new feeling with you. I want to have that over and over again. Hold on. I think, okay, there we go. All right. This is my first time having 2 people on at one time. So let's see how this goes.
Hey, lady.
Hello, brother.
So first off, I gotta just say I salute all you ladies. Y'all talking some good stuff. But I want to tell y'all something from the man's perspective real quick.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So, the way life is in society, we have a lot of pressure on us, and we don't have the time to get us time. Like, the moment we slip, it's like, oh, well, I'm doing all the cooking and cleaning, and I'm doing all of this stuff, and you're not bringing the money home. So, we don't, you know, I agree with you guys need your time, but it has to be, it can't be a double standard. And what I mean by that is, there's some days I don't want to go to work. There's some days it's just not what I want to do. But it's just so much pressure on you as a black man to take care of your family, because black families are not together anymore.
Right.
So the pressure that we have on us sometimes, like, we can't really express it to you, because when you really in love, you no longer want to hurt that person's feelings. And if I say, you know what, babe, I don't want to pay the gas bill this month. I want to go buy some Jack Daniels. Like, if that's just what I want to do, I can't say that. I can't be real, because yo, you're gonna look at me crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying is, I think that one thing I appreciate with the show is uncomfortable conversations are extremely important. And I know sometimes you may not want to have them, but you have to have them.
Yeah.
Instead of you walking around upset and mad, and I don't know what you're mad at. And I didn't get on the whole show, so I'm not sure how far we can go. But I'll just say this is, like, a lot of times money and sex is what breaks up these relationships.
You're right. Yeah.
A lot of times the woman can't let her body be with. See, for men, we could be with you. We don't care. We a hard wind go by, we ready to go.
Right.
But what I learned from my wife is, if she's not emotionally there, she just doing it because she my wife, and then I don't enjoy it, she don't enjoy it, and it just becomes to be a whole big thing. But if we would have these uncomfortable conversations, just get it out the way, then I could just go ahead and knock her head off and get back to
help
where
us,
we
Lord.
get to. But it's serious, you know. And I just wanted to tell you ladies is that a lot of times, because we have the pressure that we have, y'all try and not add more pressure on us. But
Mm-hmm.
take it from me, sometimes it hurts the relationship more if
Mm-hmm.
we don't know what you're going through. Because when
Right.
my wife explodes and she be saying some stuff, I'm like, what? This whole time, I never knew you was going through that. I never knew you was feeling that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
for us, we got two brand new babies, a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I swear to you, on God, I'm 42 years old. I did not know postpartum was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was something white women got, man.
Yeah.
So when
Yes.
she said it, I was like, man, you better tighten up. Postpartum. And I spoke to a lady at my job, which was, she was like, yo, that is real.
Yeah.
She said, women kill themselves.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, if she would have had that uncomfortable conversation with me and explained to me, like, yo, this is real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to tell y'all that it is important that you get yourself time. But sometimes us men feel like, you know, women always say, well, I need time for myself and I need to do this and I need to do that. But when do we get time? There's no break
Right.
for us. And then
Yeah.
that's where the animosity comes in at. The animosity comes in when, I got to send you to the spa and you know what, you down. So let me get your nails and your feet done. And you know what, you don't feel sexy. Let me buy you some underclothes. Let me do whatever I need to do to make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm feeling away, I'm not a man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, men don't have the right to be emotional. We don't have the right to say, hey, like, I'm going through something. Hey,
Right.
I'm feeling away. Hey, like, I just need to get away,
Right.
because
Right.
unfortunately, not only on a woman, unfortunately, if a man say, hey, I want to go away for the night and stay in a room, just me, it's probably something going on. So we don't, for the good guys, we don't have that. We don't have that, what's the word I want to say? That leeway
Uh-huh.
to do
Yeah.
that. But then a woman could easily say, well, you know what? I just want to get me a room and I just want to be
I just
alone. And we like,
said
all
that
right.
too. I
Yeah.
want to be by myself.
But what would you do? What would you do if Rob said that to you? Yo, I want to
No,
get
but I
away, go
actually
be in a
told him he
room.
needs to go on a trip. Like, I just told him, like, go see your homeboy. He just moved to Maryland. Go see him for a couple of days. And he's like, what? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not that kind of. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
That's where the trust comes in.
Yeah.
If your spouse is giving off or giving you things for you to not feel secure in that way, then I can understand your spouse not having an issue. But for me, I'm not going to say, I can't say, oh, he would never. I don't feel right now in this space and time that if he wanted to take a few days or whatever, I'm not thinking of it, oh, who he going to spend those days with. I know what he's
Right.
dealing with. I know the things that the things that has been happening with him. So I've already told him, you need some time. Like, I went last weekend, me and my girls, we went to North Carolina. I said, you not feeling that good? You need some me time. He's like, me time? Yes. And you brought up so many good points in just this time where it sounded foreign to him.
Yeah.
You like, me time? I'm like, yes, you need time to just be Robert, not Pastor Robert, not my husband, not a father, but you need time to be you.
That's right.
And that is a good thing that you said. I don't feel like men are allowed that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think it sounds so foreign to him when I said it. But more and more, I'm like, no, Shaquana needs a minute. So Robert needs a minute.
I totally agree with that.
So
Yeah, and and what Nate is saying, a lot of women don't think like that.
So
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question, and again, I'm very open, and my life is an open book. Like she said, I have a show as well, and I appreciate this dialogue. And a while ago, one argument my wife and I had was that she would say that she was tired, and all she do is take care of the kids and cook and clean and go to work and go on this and that. And for me, I'm just like, yo, you're not the first woman in the world to have kids and work and cook and clean. And, and to be honest with you, you could have swallowed. You didn't have to have them goddamn kids. If you
Us, Lord, help us.
look at
I
me, God,
told you,
forget
he
about that.
unfiltered.
But what I'm just saying is, like, these are the conversations you got to have. Because in my head, I don't understand, like, I don't get the time to not work 120 hours a week. So how is it you feel because you got kids and you got to cook. And like, I just, in my head, I just felt like I pay the bills and it's what you're supposed to do. But once we were able to have a conversation and I was able to listen, I was like, yo, you know what? So I do go out and work every day, but I don't take care of the kids. I don't cook. I don't clean. I don't have to wash clothes every day. I don't have to fold clothes. So I didn't think about that. But if you don't have those conversations,
Right.
you might think, like in your head, like in her head, I should just notice. I should just know everything she going through. And in my head, she need to shut up because, like, yo, I work the same way, but I didn't, you know. So I'm just saying these uncomfortable conversations are extremely, extremely important, you know.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell y'all ladies, this last thing, and I'm going to go is let that man be a man. And any event you get to the point where you start respecting that man and he can't lead you anymore, then it's time for you to move on. But for you to be calling him out his name and belittling him and telling him how he ain't worth this and he ain't worth that and he can't take care of the family and this and that, y'all gonna make that man commit suicide or he gonna kill you. When you get to that point, it's just time to go. Like, you can't. And this is what I talk to a lot of my friends, man, and you know, they ask me, oh, like, yo, you got married? Why would you get married? Me personally, I'm happy in my marriage. But I'm happy in my marriage because I make myself happy. Crystal adds to my happiness, but she doesn't make me happy, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
I do it, but I make myself happy. And a lot of my people is like, you know, they don't work or they don't this and that, you know, and I just feel like a lot of times women kind of train men to be the way that they are. You know, if you allow me to not work, allow me to stay home, and you being my ride or die as a girlfriend, then what can you expect for me to be if you marry me?
That's right.
So,
yeah, you talking good.
My word is, listen, you gotta train that man from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Train him.
Yeah.
Him gonna go for and what you not gonna go for. Then
Yeah.
you're mad later on when it happens, because just like a dog, we training our dog right now. If we don't make him understand what he can and can't do, then in the house, I can't be mad with him because I didn't lay no ground rules, you know? So that's what it is.
It's at a standard,
This show is absolutely fantastic. Thank you for everyone, and I'll be continue to watching, and salute to all of you ladies.
Thank you. That was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed what he had to say. That was really good. He brought up some very, very heavy things, and it really is a conversation that needed to be had. And that's why I feel like, again, it's about coming together and serving each other, because he brought up a good point. From a woman's perspective, a lot of times is, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And in their mind, they may not physically be doing stuff in the house, but they're doing stuff in the background, working or whatever. But then you also have to think, there are some homes where the woman is doing this, that, and the other, but she's also working too. Yeah. So that's where the balance comes in. If both of y'all working, then y'all got to come together to a compromise. That some of the load in the house has to be shared. It should not all be on one person. Now, in certain seasons, the wife going to do more than the husband in some areas. In other seasons, the husband is going to do more than the wife in certain areas. But everybody should be moving and doing something, and not just one person doing this and that's it. And then, so that's something very good. And that thing where he said men don't get a moment, because the moment they stop, it's like, oh, well, you're not on your A game. Basically, you're not. And that's good. Really thinking about it, how many men really feel that way? But this is why I say, I'm not trying to say I'm the perfect wife, because I sure ain't. But because I've been on this thing the past few months, like, wait a minute. Yeah. I can't give more to people outside, and then I try to give the little pieces of what's left to myself, and then try to give it to my husband and my children. So I've been self-preservation here.
That's right. That's the words I use.
Self-preservation here. So what I learned is, if Shaquana has to exercise self-preservation, I need that from my husband because I need him to serve me well too.
Absolutely.
So it can't be like he said, the women, oh, well, I need time to do this and do that. The male needs it too. And that's why I said, some of these things can't be just addressed towards men or just addressed towards women. No. Me time goes both ways. Me time means your first priority is your house, your home. Take care of home. That means to take care of the bills. Nothing should be coming before that. Take care of your spouse and their needs. Nothing should be coming before that, both male and female. At the same time, once you know that the home front is fine, a day is not going to kill you.
Don't kill anybody.
A day is not going to kill you.
Not.
You spent a weekend with your spouse this 1 month. Okay, now this next month, you're going to take a whole day and just take a mental health day.
And
it's okay.
And we got to make it clear that when you say you're taking the day, that means nobody's calling you constantly. Nobody's asking where you are. Nobody's calling you with issues or problems for you to fix. Literally your day, your time of separation. You know, it's not like you're still working behind the scenes kind of thing.
Right.
You know, it's really your free time for you to get away. Or else it doesn't count because you're not physically there, but mentally you're still there. You're getting there, but yet and still your phone's going off every 5 minutes. Or you're out to eat by yourself and yet and still people are texting you, calling you about this problem, this issue, this, that, and the other. So they have to know how to handle things on their own when either the father or the mother is away, not calling each other. They should be able to problem their own.
Yes, it is so necessary. I truly feel that society has made marriage to be y'all engulfing each other and y'all eat, sleep, breathe each other and y'all don't interact with the outside world. But no, it's two worlds coming together and working together as one. That doesn't mean that you completely forget everything you know. You completely just forget about your dreams, your aspirations, and things like that. You are to push each other, be each other's cheerleader, things like that.
You know things I wanted to add to that is one of the other big issues that can come up in marriages and relationships is competing with one another. When you have two people that are focused, driven, and goal-oriented, you know, you can run into that realm of actually competing with each other instead of complimenting each other. And having bitterness and jealousy and all of those things to arise in your marriage. So you have to be very careful of those things coming up as well. And focusing on, like the gentleman said, talking and communicating with one another and noticing those little signs that you may see coming up, you know, when you have an engagement going on or something's going on that, you know, and you see them pouting or, you know, always feeling a certain way. You just got to take notice of all of those things because we never know what we're doing that can cause these emotions and feelings to arise in our partner.
You are definitely right about that. I don't know. I just feel like your spouse should be your number one fan, your number one cheerleader. Nobody on the outside should be a bigger fan of your spouse than you. So if I have a business venture, you should be the first one cheering me on. Let's go. What do you need to do to get this done? I need to push you into purpose, X, Y, and Z. And so that should be the husband pushing the wife pushing the husband to do what God called them to do. And then y'all come together and do what God called y'all to do together. It's so important. It's so key, but it's so easy to, again, lose your way in some of these things. You know, I like to keep it an hour, but this is so good. We're at 8:59. I wanted to touch on one more thing before we give like some quick tips to those who may be going through something in a marriage or may be aspiring to be married. So the last thing I wanted to touch on was when you're together, because we're talking about keeping the fire burning and alive, which means you've had longevity in your marriage, you've got time put in. One thing we don't talk about is You know how many people I have seen that have come together, raise their children, and the moment their children become of a certain age to be okay, they split.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, why is that? It's because for me, I think in my mindset, just being married, right? And also looking at other marriages, whether that's TV, real life, other people that we look up to over the years, you are never the same person. And I touched on this in my post. You are never the same person when you first got married to when wherever you're at now. And what we don't do as married people is we don't evolve with our spouses.
Ooh,
We don't evolve with our spouses. We don't give our spouses the space to grow. And so because of our comfortability, I want my spouse to stay this way, to talk this way, to act this way, to look this way. We don't give our spouses the room to evolve. And that's where the separation comes from. You have to reinvent your marriage in certain aspects in different seasons. You can't just say, well, this is how we've done things all these years and this is how we no, you gotta move with the times. Same way times change, your spouse will change. They might not like going to eat out no more. Like, prime example, I can't eat as much as I used to eat before. Eating and going out to eat was one of our main staple things that we love to do. I can't do that anymore as our main event. So it may not be as enjoyable for either of us because I eat my little portions of food and I'm full. I'm ready to take the rest home. And he might want to, stay and talk more over things like that. So you got to evolve around that. You have to pivot around that. That's been my word, especially for this year that God gave me. You have to pivot around that. Let's weight gain. The wife might have children. She's not going to look exactly how she looked when you first got married. So how do you work around that? You have to work together to work around that. The husband, he might not have all his hair. These are the real things. A female, she might not have all of her female organs no more when you first met her. You might not be able to have any more children. You have to pivot around these things. And I think that over time, everybody wants their spouse to stay confined to an extent. At some point, this is how I met them. This is what I fell in love with. This is what I said, yes, I do to. But no, you said, yes, I do to all stages. That means when your spouse, something happens, when you talked about the trauma, something happens and your spouse is going through something, might be mentally. No, you said I do to that too. Your spouse gained weight. You did kind of say I do to that too. Now, again, you got to work around that and compromise. Like, hey, you let yourself go. I'm not asking you to be a size 2, or be buffed up or whatever, but we got to work around this. But that's where the working together constantly happens. And I just think that marriage sometimes from the outside looks like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this all the time, and we're gonna have all the our fire, our love for each other, gonna keep it. No, when life starts life, and that's when your marriage becomes alive. You got to activate all the tools in a marriage.
Yeah, because we have to respect each other's space, and a lot of times people lose sight of that too, and they get into this whole mode of your body is my body, and you have to take care of your husband, or you have to take care of your wife. And what happened to compassion? What happened to selflessness? What happened to empathy? What happened to all of these things that go along with that? Yes, I made a commitment to honor my vows and to be there for my husband. Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. Mm-hmm. But did I make a commitment to that out of my own detriment? If I'm not feeling well, if I'm hurting, if I'm in a certain predicament, am I then to sacrifice myself, my emotions, my body, and what I'm feeling to make you happy? Where does salvation actually come into play? And when does it come into play on the behalf of the husband or the wife?
Right.
When do they understand you're not feeling well. Yes, I understand that you just worked all day and you don't feel like this right now. Instead of your obligation, you're to do this. You made a commitment to do this. Yes, but in the long run, this is still my body. This is still.
And look, if your spouse is not feeling well, you shouldn't even want to do nothing, because then they're not even going to give their highest level of performance. I'll just say that.
Exactly.
You know?
But
yeah.
But we know that sometimes it's not even cared. It's kind of like the color purple, you know?
Lord. Nate said, just turn the lights off. Everyone looks good in the dark.
See?
Listen, sometimes you do have to try, kind of just go for it. Listen, I might not be in the mood. I might be tired, but when we get to going, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Oh, God. Nate is a mess. He is an absolute mess. I just want to make sure I didn't miss no comments. He said, all of this talk in the comments are fantastic. However, are we actually practicing what we're preaching? Keep it real with yourself before you'll be able to keep it real with your mate. That's true. And that's, again, the conversations. And this is what I'll say. I'm a very big advocate for uncomfortable conversations. Not because I like them, but it might be excruciating to say some things or ask certain questions, but I feel like once it's had, things will be better.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about it is, when they say keep it real, keep it real, keep it real, but we have to factor in something. Your spouse has to create a safe space for you to be able to keep it real.
That is important.
Because a lot of times when he say, oh, you know, he wouldn't have known this and wouldn't have known that if they didn't have a conversation, but both parties have to create a safe space for their spouse to tell them, hey, I don't like how you look no more.
Yes.
Now, don't say it like that, but I didn't fall in love with you this way, and we got to figure something out. Or you changed so much, I don't know who you are anymore.
Exactly.
Those are deep, uncomfortable conversations, but they may open a floodgate of other conversations that will get you to a better place for y'all to meet in the middle. But you have to create a safe space for your spouse to be able to be honest with you, have a conversation, to verbalize your needs, to verbalize what you want, what you don't like. And that's sometimes I ask her, now you got to tell me what you like. You like something different now? You know, you want to switch some things up. What don't you like anymore? Because again, we evolve and we have to move with the evolution of our spouses. So I need to know what you liked 2 years ago. You might like a little something extra now. How you like this served or fixed or cooked or whatever. You might not like that no more. And I need to know that. Vice versa. No, I need to verbalize to you, yeah, I kind of started getting a liking into this area and I want to explore this more. You know, I need to verbalize that to you, but I need a safe space to be able to verbalize it. He needs a safe space for him to verbalize how he really feels. And I think that's the part that we miss. So yes, what Nate said is good. Be honest, but the spouses both have to create a safe space for each other to be honest, because that's where the dishonesty comes from. That's where venting to other people comes from. That's where turning to other people comes from, and it trickle effects.
Because if I think I'm going to say something to you that's going to be so offensive that now it's going to cause this huge argument based around my honesty and what I've said to you, then 9 times out of 10, like you said, I'm going to go and vent to somebody else. I'm going to go talk to somebody else, because you haven't created that safe space for me. So there's things that I desire that I can't share with you, because you're going to become emotional. You're going to get angry. You're going to say I'm picking with you. You're going to say I'm belittling you or doing all of these things, when that's not the point. I'm just being honest and trying to say to you so that we can get better and go closer together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Important.
This was good.
Yeah.
This is good. Okay. So just to wrap things up, this was a phenomenal conversation. Just to wrap things up, just really quickly give 3 pieces of advice you would give to somebody who wants to get married or just got married or who's newly engaged about marriage, keeping your marriage alive.
I would say, first of all, learn who you are. Get into a safe space with yourself.
Yes.
So that you know what you're willing to give and what you would like to receive from someone else. Because if you don't even know what you want to receive, it's like Nate said, you set the bar in that relationship for how somebody treats you and how they come into that marriage. So you can't start off taking care of somebody and then once you get married say, hey, you need to go do this, 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 and this, because now they're used to you taking them. So
Yep.
I would say for yourself and what your expectation of marriage is and what you're willing to accept and not to accept. Second thing I would say is to make that the person that you pray to God for or looking for to come into your life is a person that you are willing to serve. Look at it like, hey, if this person did A, B, and C, am I willing to still love unconditionally?
Lord.
Am I willing to serve? Because that's a part of marriage,
Yeah.
Being able to serve despite of your anger, being willing to say, I'm not going to sleep angry. I'm not going to stay mad at this person. I'm not going to let the sun go down, because that ain't always easy. People say it all the time. But how many times do people go to bed angry and just cover it up? They're not mad anymore.
Yeah.
And then open communication, like you said, having that safe space, having that best friend, being best friends with that person, where you can tell them any and everything,
Yep.
and they can say, I don't like that hurt my feelings, but I get what you're saying.
Right.
It hurt me the way you said it. Maybe you could have said it a little different, but I get it.
Yep.
I get it. And I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work. That's key, them being willing to work at it. And you together and being willing to serve one another in spite of. Not wanting to end up sitting at a table with somebody and then you don't know that person. You've been together for years and you still don't know that person.
Right.
So
right.
That greatest fear, not knowing the person that you have invested so much time into.
Right. This is good. This was good. I want to say thank you so much for being on tonight. Thank you to my brother-in-law, Nate. Thank you so much for coming on again. This is why God gave me Mature Conversations, because this, again, I'm going to always say, I always tell at the beginning, which I didn't do today. I'm going to say it now. At the beginning, I usually say, but I'm going to say it at the end. The purpose of Mature Conversations is to have uncomfortable conversations so that we all can learn and grow from each other. Have these uncomfortable conversations because it pricks something in all of us. No matter what conversation we have that's uncomfortable, it pricks something in all of us. It makes us think. It makes us have a different perspective, entertain a different perspective that will help us. So these conversations are definitely needed. And I feel truly that it will help someone, whether it's someone desiring to get married. This video might help somebody 6 months from now.
That's right.
In the time that they needed to hear something you said, that they needed to hear something I said, or something that Nate said, or something that somebody said in the comments. So I truly believe there is so much growth and healing and power in just having conversations, because we don't talk enough. We talk about the wrong things.
Yeah.
Let me say that. We talk a lot, but we don't talk about the right things that's going to get all of us to where we need to be in the betterment of ourselves.
Right.
I thank you so much for joining us. If you guys have any questions, if you want to be on as a guest, if you have a topic you want discussed, please go ahead, send me a DM, or you can email me at Have Mature Conversations. And I thank you guys for watching. If you watch this, go ahead and share it because somebody needs to hear it. Have a good night, guys.
Night.